Yes, Honorable Minority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, thank you for indulging us. Mr. Speaker, in the order paper today, at page 6, item 17, is a notice of a committee meeting, a committee of the whole, in this very chamber. And the agenda is for the governor to apprise the House on the cost of the construction of the new Bank of Ghana headquarters at Ridge, Accra, and related matters. Mr. Speaker, let me state for the records that this side of the House is not against accountability. It is not against a state institution coming to this House to apprise us of its activities. It is part of our duties to disseminate such information to our constituents, and it's within our right to demand for same. However, the preliminary issue we have, which was initially raised by my respected colleague Habib Idrisu, the first Deputy Minority Whip, had to do with procedure of initiating our rights. Rights are exercised, but through some process. And we know that this is a house of rules and procedure. This house observes its own practices, conventions, and equally guided by the Constitution, standing orders, etc., etc. It is our case that for the governor of the central bank to come, the matter should first be raised on the floor, either through a question, a statement, or some other means in accordance with our rules. Order 91 of our rules allow a member to bring up an issue of urgent public importance. Our rules under Order 114 also allows for motions to be filed. Mr. Speaker, when a motion is debated, there could be consequential directives which would then pave way for a head of an institution, a constitutional body, to apprise the House. So all our cry is about procedure. For the records, this matter, although came up in the 8th Parliament, it has never come up in the 9th Parliament. No member of Parliament has filed a question, filed a motion, neither has any member filed a statement, which statement has been admitted by Mr. Speaker, resulting in the need to bring the governor of the central bank to this chamber. However, in all fairness to the majority leader, he raised the matter at the business committee meeting where he chairs. And eventually in the business committee report he presented last Friday, he did indicate that the central bank governor is being programmed to apprise the House today, and same has been advertised. Our side is of the view that in spite of that process initiated by the majority leader, the right procedure to trigger our jurisdiction as a House would be for the matter to be properly raised. Mr. Speaker, this is all our prayer. It is therefore in your hands to take a decision so that the House can make progress. I thank you.
Thank you very much. I will give the floor to Honorable Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, the practice of this House regarding asking questions is known. Mr. Speaker, this House does not only ask questions in relation to matters that have come up during debate or during the sitting of the House. In this House, any member, by our standing orders, can ask a minister, the head of an independent constitutional body, or even a colleague member of parliament, any question of any matter that is within the bosom of that person. I can actually ask the minority leader a question about a matter that is within his purview as minority leader, because he is chair of some committees of parliament. I can ask him a question about his functions in relation to that committee or any matter pertaining to that committee. I can ask any member of parliament a question relating to your constituency, because that is what our standing orders say. There's no provision in our standing orders saying that before any of us asks a question of a minister or the head of an independent constitutional body, that matter must have risen in some debate. No, when did that happen? When? Since the time you became minority leader, when did you amend the standing orders? When? This is common practice. Questions have been asked today of the Minister for Local Government, and he is here to answer. Are there matters that have arisen in some debate in this House? No. It's the same way. Whether the matter has arisen in this House or not, we can ask questions. And in this case, the matter arose, and it's common knowledge. And the rules say that if the matter is of public interest and within the bosom of the head of the independent constitutional body, that we can ask them questions. And I gave the Speaker notice. The Speaker said, okay, go ahead. Then I went to Business Committee meeting. I drew the attention of Business Committee that because these questions are asked at the Committee of the Whole sittings, because for independent constitutional bodies, it should be at Committee of the Whole sittings. So I requested for a Committee of the Whole sitting today for the governor to come and answer the question. And at Business Committee, they agreed. Your members were there, 4 of them. They did not object. We came to this House to present the report of the Business Committee, and I repeated it. I indicated that at Business Committee, it was agreed unanimously that the governor will be scheduled to come today and come and answer a question specifically relating to the cost of the Bank of Ghana head office building. Nobody objected in this House. Nobody. The only matter that you objected to was the issue of the allocation of speaking numbers to both sides of the House. Everything else was adopted in this House. And the clerk then wrote to the governor, summoning the governor to come and then address us, answer the question, apprise us of the cost of the head office building of the Bank of Ghana. Mr. Speaker, I don't know what this hula baloo is all about. I don't know whether there is an attempt to run away from that answer. I don't know whether people are afraid of the information that the governor will be providing. Mr. Speaker, this is a matter that the public has an interest. Thousands of people demonstrated in this country. In fact, this House, about 136 members of parliament marched to the old head office building of the Bank of Ghana to present a petition in relation to this particular matter. I am surprised that when a governor becomes available to come and give answers relating to the cost, some people will seeking to run away from it. Mr. Speaker, what is all this? Let's just sit and listen to the governor. Let him tell us the cost. It's a public asset. They use public money to procure it. And we represent the public here. And we want to know how much it costs. How is that an issue? Even if there is, let's say that some anomaly in the procedure, please, in the interest of the public, let us hear him. Oh, it's okay. All right, it's okay. Mr. Speaker, can we invite the governor to come and give us the cost of the building?
Honorable members, it has been said that this House is not against accountability. We are all in support of our institution being accountable to Ghanaians through their representatives. As such, we are really not against the governor of the Bank of Ghana coming to brief the House on the cost of construction of the headquarters of Bank of Ghana at Reach, Accra. Honourable members, it is not in dispute that this matter was raised at Business Committee, program in the report of the Business Committee, and this House has adopted the Business Committee's report. Honourable members, pursuant to the adoption of the Business Committee's report, the Clerk of Parliament wrote a letter to the Governor of Bank of Ghana inviting the Governor to come and brief the House on the issue. As such, the order paper for today has it at page 6, item numbered 17, to the effect that the Governor of Bank of Ghana would be coming to the House to brief the House on the cost of the construction of the Bank of Ghana headquarters. Honourable members, the practice and the convention is that when a business committee program an institution to come and brief the House, and there is no objection to that at the time the business statement was taken, procedurally, the clerk was right in writing a letter to invite the Governor to come and brief the House in line with the business statement adopted by the House. So with all due respect, honorable members, there is an adage that says that if the farm is not long, your water container must not be big. We should not spend so much time debating whether the Bank of Ghana governor should come and brief the House on the construction of their headquarters or not. Honorable members, in the spirit of all of us interested in accountability, I will want to humbly proceed to invite the Governor of the Bank of Ghana to come and brief the House. Honorable members, I will proceed to bring the Governor to come and brief the House. The House is accordingly constituted into a committee of the whole. Honorable Governor for Bank of Ghana, you may please come and brief the House. Honourable members, the committee is called to order. Honourable members, we have the Governor of Bank of Ghana in the person of Dr. Johnson Esiama with us, accompanied by Dr. Zakari Mumuni, First Deputy Governor, Ms. Sandra Thompson, the Secretary, Mr. Stephen Amu, Director, Mr. Bernard Atto Otobil, Director, Mr. George Brace, Deputy Chief Manager, and Nana Buaben, Deputy Director. You are welcome.
Thank you. So we can start.
Wait. Have you finished? Yes. So, honourable members, they are here to give us a briefing on the cost of construction of the Bank of Ghana headquarters located at Ridge, Accra. So, Honourable Governor, you have the floor.
Oh, yeah. Mr. Speaker, let me start by thanking you for the invitation to brief this Honorable House on the construction of the new Bank of Ghana building. With me today, Mr. Speaker, is my first Deputy Governor, Dr. Zakaria Mumuni, who is seated on my left. I also have two of the members of the project team, the gentlemen who worked on the project, two of them seated just after Dr. Zakaria, and they will help us in answering your questions. Mr. Speaker, we have also brought a number of reports, reports that we believe will shed light on the issues, such as cost, rationale, and payments, etc. And we are happy to answer questions that you have on those reports. Mr. Speaker, we do recognize the significant public interest in the development of the new corporate headquarters. While this project was initiated before our tenure, we are fully aware of our responsibility to manage resources efficiently and to operate with transparency. Mr. Speaker, the reconstituted Bank of Ghana board will be sworn in next week, and the board will begin reviewing some of these legacy issues. Indeed, Mr. Speaker, we have scheduled for board agenda a detailed briefing on the new Bank of Ghana building by the project team members, and we intend to seek authorization from the board to engage AESL for a value for money audit into the new building. We believe this will bring clarity to the matter, and we believe this will bring closure to the issue of our new Bank of Ghana building. Mr. Speaker, as I said, the documents we have provided and submitted to leadership contains most of the issues you have requested, and we urge you to go through it and ask your questions to my team. Can I go on?
Chairman, with respect, the governor in his submission is saying that he has forwarded some document to leadership, and he hopes that this will enable us ask the relevant questions. But respectfully, we haven't received any document. I think they are now sharing the document. So I just want him to wait for a moment for us to have this document.
Thank you, Honorable Minority Leader. The document has even been loaded on the console. So, Governor, please proceed. Honorable Governor, please proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the discussions around a new headquarters for the Bank of Ghana date back to 2011, when the board at the time considered acquiring land for the project. However, the board at the time could not settle on a specific location until its tenure ended. Mr. Speaker, even in 2016, when I was a deputy governor, the same issue was being considered. However, we could not settle on an appropriate location. In 2019, under a new board of the Bank of Ghana, a structural integrity audit was conducted, and this showed that the existing head office, which was built in the late 1950s, had developed significant structural defects and was no longer fit for purpose. Mr. Speaker, we have provided a copy of this document also on the structural integrity audit that was conducted in 2019. Following this, Mr. Speaker, the Board of Directors at that time approved the development of a new corporate headquarters, citing security, operational efficiency, and long-term institutional needs as key factors. Mr. Speaker, in 2020, the land was acquired at West Ridge, and I am informed that a competitive procurement process that was approved by the Public Procurement Authority led to the selection of Mr. Goldkey Properties Limited as the contractor under a turnkey arrangement. Mr. Speaker, the project was initially valued by the PPA at $81.8 million US, but later increased to $121.1 million after the Bank of Ghana requested for re-evaluation. This was revised again to $222.8 million, and I'm just rounding off, Mr. Speaker, after the redesign and inclusion of building management systems. Mr. Speaker, there were also statutory requirements, security needs, and sustainability considerations. As a result, the total project cost increased to $261.8 million. Mr. Speaker, as of February this year, a total of $230 million approximately has been paid towards the project, with an outstanding balance of $31.8 million to be paid to the contractor. Mr. Speaker, a total of $48.3 million has been paid in taxes and levies that were related to the construction. Mr. Speaker, beyond the core building, separate contracts were awarded for other infrastructure. These include ICT systems and network infrastructure, which was awarded at a cost of $8.6 million, integrated electronic security systems, which was also awarded at a cost of $15.8 million, and furniture and furnishings that was also awarded at $11.1 million US. Mr. Speaker, these elements were included to ensure that the bank operates in a secure and technologically advanced environment in line with the needs of a modern central bank. Mr. Speaker, while the new headquarters project has understandably drawn public attention, Mr. Speaker, it is important to emphasize that the Bank of Ghana remains fully focused on its primary responsibilities, which is to maintain price stability, which is to ensure financial sector resilience, and which is to foster economic growth. These are the priorities that guide our actions. As an independent central bank, we recognize, Mr. Speaker, that public trust is fundamental to our operations, and that trust is built on transparency, sound decision-making, and a demonstrated commitment to prudent financial management. Mr. Speaker, we want to assure this Honorable House that the new board will exercise its oversight responsibilities efficiently, and the new board will ensure value for money in all our undertakings. Mr. Speaker, once again, I thank you for the invitation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Governor, for Bank of Ghana and your team. Honorable members, I intend to open the floor for some questions, clarifications. Honorable Ampim Nyako, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, we have heard the governor, and we are happy that he's been able to provide this information. I just want to find out why the contract was awarded in dollars and not in cedis. And then secondly, you said you acquired the land. Is the cost of the land part of the cost of construction that you've given us, or is that separate? And if it is separate, have you paid fully for the cost of the land? Thank you.
Several questions, and Alexander, okay, well, honorable member, you have the floor.
Yes. Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. I have a couple of questions for the governor. The first, I will reference him to paragraph 18 of the document he shared, which is talking about the cost per square meter of the building. According to the report, he's saying that the cost per square meter of this head office building is $2,068, which compares with international standard of $2,658. And so, from his own statement in paragraph 18, the value per square meter of the building is way below what it is compared to international standards. If the governor is aware, if you check with EcoBank Ghana, all the buildings that have been built here in this country in comparative terms, the cost per square meter is still even lower in the case of the Bank of Ghana than even the EcoBank building. And so this assertion, even with all the security complexities of the building that we see today, the issue of value for money that you're talking about, I think it is adequately addressed over here. The second question I want to refer him to. The second question I'm giving to you is that in terms of the approvals, the procurement approvals, is the governor telling this House that all the Bank of Ghana, did Bank of Ghana sidestep any approval process for this particular transaction? Because I know. Okay. So can the governor tell us if the Bank of Ghana got the necessary approvals for this particular transaction? Okay. My final question to the governor is whether the governor, as we speak now, is in occupation of this particular building. Thank you.
Honorable Hotoja.
It's not coming. My decision is no way. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, can the Bank of Ghana governor brief this House as to what the cost or what actually accounted for the repeated increase in the contract sum?
Honorable Yaframpong.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mine is just one question that I want to find out. In his introduction, the governor did mention value for money audits. I just want to find out if that exercise was really carried out. The value for money audit, if it was carried out. It was finally carried out before the construction. Yes, the Bank of Ghana. Thank you.
Yes, Honorable Fondi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Two quick questions. I am aware that before a project like this would be costed, all the architectural drawings, all the consultancies and everything would have been done before an institution like Bank of Ghana would put up a cost. Unfortunately, from $81 million, we are hitting revived to about $260 million. The Bank of Ghana governor did not explain to us what exactly changed in the cost of the changing of the price. Can we know that? And number two, the Bank of Ghana should be able to educate us also the selection of the consultant that would have to pay over $3 million for this project. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I'll take one more from here and give the opportunity to the governor. Kennedy Osenyako.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I want to ask the governor if there was a value for money audit report. If there is not, will he consider engaging Crown agent to conduct a value for money report and furnish the House so that we'll be able to know the exact cost or what accounted for the cost of the project? Thank you.
Yes, Honorable Governor, you have the floor. You can provide answers to all questions so far asked.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I would defer to my colleagues, the members of the project team, to provide initial answers, and then I'll come in. But I'll just touch on the one question before I defer to them. This was a question on occupation of the building. Yes, my predecessor moved into his office before he left office. Why? Because this was allowed under the contract. Remember, the project is about 98% complete. It's almost done. And so my predecessor moved in, and therefore when I took over, I had no choice but also move into it whilst we continue all the other processes. Mr. Speaker, permit me to now defer to my colleagues, and then we will take the questions one by one. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, why dollars? The contract was a turnkey project, and then we wanted to lock in the value in terms of payment and evaluation, and also to prevent change of contract values if it was cedis. Cost of land is not part of the figures we are provided here. It was compulsorily acquired by Ghana government and then given to Bank of Ghana. Cost per square meter. Yes, if you use the 261, the total contract values per the various contracts that have been signed under the project, the cost per square meter now come to 2,446, still lower than the West African construction estimate and also internationally accepted estimate. Procurement approvals. Mr. Speaker, procurement approvals were sought for all the processes. The first one was the PPA approval to use the restricted tendering for the selected contractors who were perceived to be suitable to build such an edifice. The PPA gave an estimate at that time when they gave the approval of $81.8 million. Mr. Speaker, after the evaluation and then selection of the contractor, the lowest responsive value for the contract with Goki Properties Limited was $121.0 million. So the Bank of Ghana went back to PPA to inform them about the new value, and on 31st August 2020, the PPA gave approval for the $121 million. Mr. Chair, Mr. Speaker, after the evaluation, the ETC gave approval for Bank of Ghana to go to CTRC to seek a concurrent approval, and that was also granted. Yeah. Mr. Speaker, the occupation issue have been answered already. The repeated increase in the contract sum. After the signing of contract with Goki Properties, now the Bank of Ghana have to come in and sit with the contractor to look at the total proposal as submitted. And many of the issues that were considered was the fact that there are security issues of the total contract that couldn't be given to public. So these ones had to be discussed at the point of the contract. Also, the original plan was supposed to be 25 floors. Unfortunately, the spatial requirements require that it cannot be 25, but reduced to 20-floor facility. We also have to look at all the statutory approval requirements and also the functionality of the building in order to address all the requirements of Bank of Ghana. This finally resulted in, Mr. Speaker, a 4-structure facility made up of the tower block, 20 floors, urban block, 8 floors, amenity block, 6 floors, and the podium that houses 5 car park floors under the building, because it was noted that that area lacked car park, and then we will have to factor that into the building. And a modern energy farm system was also introduced into the facility in order to address power needs, since such a building will require continuous power supply without any issue of light off. A treatment plant for water was also introduced, and all these things were done in order to make the building EDGE certified. And Mr. Speaker, I can assure you that the project is EDGE certified, and an EDGE team will also do a review very soon. Mr. Speaker, value for money, we relied on the various approvals to confirm the value for the contract. Currently, it has been decided that an independent consultancy firm will be employed to review the project cost to see, and Mr. Governor made mention of that. Mr. Speaker, no drawings was done because it was a turnkey project. So we did not do quantity cost or quantity analysis before the project. Selection of consultant. Mr. Speaker, we used a single source method of selection, and that one to approval was sought. In fact, this was done when we have to go through the professional institutions in Ghana that can supervise such projects. After going through all the professional consultancy firms that can do that, we identified Multicard, a Ghanaian consultancy firm, as a suitable consultancy firm that can manage the project for us as the employee rep of the project. Mr. Chair, currently what I know about Crown Agent is that it's defunct. However, as indicated earlier, Mr. Governor has decided that we can use a local company to do that job. So I'm sure when the board comes, these issues will be discussed and the appropriate action taken on that. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. We'll then open the second round of questions. I give the floor to Minority Chief Whip, Honorable Anodompre.
Chairman, let me thank you for the opportunity. Chairman, I've taken time to listen to the presentation, and the governor's and his team, I think one of his team members responded to a question on value for money. And amongst other things, he says they came to certain conclusion based on the procedure that was adopted. And then he also says the AESL will be contracted to do some work. I don't know if I'm correct. Then you went ahead also to say an independent body will again be contracted. I'm struggling to get some meaning. Why will, the first place, is it not too late in the day that AESL will be engaged? And why would you still want to engage an independent body on same subject matter? Am I right to come to a conclusion that after all, there are no fishy deals in this project, and Ghana did not lose out on it? And once and for all, based on your presentation and the facts you put out, we should be putting away or let the controversy rest once and for all. Will I be right to come to this conclusion?
Honorable Adongo.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Chairman, these were decisions that were taken by the previous board. I was not on that board. But even if I'm on the board, are you taking decisions here? You are not taking any decisions. So if you are taking decisions, I will abstain. Mr. Chairman, I wasn't a director when transactions were made. I'm speaking in that capacity. Mr. Chairman, paragraph 7.
Honorable Adongo, just hold it. I recognize the minority leader.
Chairman, respectfully, the honorable member who just rose and caught your eye has just been appointed as a director of the bank. He's gone through the process, nomination through Council of State, and finally he has become a director. Although he's yet to be sworn in, I humbly hold a view that he can pass on his concerns to some other member to ask. Because, Mr. Speaker, the governor said that the same board is going to pursue the matter. It is obvious that he's in conflict. He's in conflict in the sense that, first, Mr. Speaker, he's in conflict in the sense that he's torn between two bona fides here. One as a director, and the second as a member of this legislature. Mr. Speaker, a matter has come before this House. And the matter that has come before this House, though you don't have a personal interest, you have an interest in your official capacity. That is, as part of your functions, the governor has indicated that you are going to undertake certain activities. I do not think that it would be appropriate in the circumstances to now proceed to be asking questions on the very matter that you are going to peruse in your capacity as a director of the bank. Mr. Speaker, I've just made my submission. It's for you to rule upon it.
Honourable members, guided by the decision of the Supreme Court in the case of Justice Abdullah versus Attorney General Adongo, you have the floor. Ask your question.
Thank you very much, thank you very much, Chairman. Chairman, thank you very much for the protection. In 2020, I was not a board member, and these transactions were done from 2020. Even now, I only disclose my interest and not take a decision.
Please proceed to
ask. That's all I do.
Proceed.
Anyway, Mr. Chairman, the board under paragraph 7 indicated that the original estimated contract sum, or the engineer's estimate, put the contract at $100 million. In their own wisdom, they revised this to 81 million before the tender. Then a tender is received which is 50% above the estimated figure given to us by our engineers. Our engineers, having compiled all the bill of quantities, think that it will cost us 80 million to build this facility. We are now looking for a contractor, and the contractor comes to tell us that he will contract it at a figure 50% above what our engineers are saying. And we went ahead and approved it. It didn't end there. Now we are dealing with 261, and this was being done at the time of COVID-19. Ghanaians were being asked to pay COVID levy. And you then went and signed a contract which is 250% above your estimates. My question is, Was it that the Bank of Ghana was living without limitation? Whereas everybody was tightening their belt, Bank of Ghana had a lot of money to just be spending. But Chairman, can they tell us the second lowest or the lowest bidder per the evaluation report? There were other bidders. What were they saying? Were they also quoting 121 billion? Yeah. Can they tell us what the other bidders were willing to construct the property for, and for which they were ignored and we went for 121 million? And then now can they tell us what the other bidders were telling us? And then two, as we speak today, it's been 5 years. We still don't have a value for money audit. We don't have a value for money. If they have it, they should submit it. We are now going to determine value for money for a project whose cost has been increased almost every now and then. So why is it that we didn't have value for money when it became clear to us? When it became clear to us that the original figure was being exceeded, we didn't do value for money. We kept doing that until now. Why was there no value for money up to this point? Then, Mr. Chairman, I want to find out. Is it also one of those projects like the National Cathedral where the figure was listen to me, where the figure was a moving target?
Honourable members, order.
Chairman.
Honourable members, let's listen to each other in silence.
The cost of that project was also a moving target. Was it a moving target? Was the project cost a moving target? Said that it could just be going up and up and up and up without an idea where it will end? Please, Chairman, I want to know whether this cost was a moving target. Because we are in this country, when you people started a national cathedral and every day the figure was going up. Then you went to build the headquarters of Bank of Ghana, that figure too also started going up. Why? Are you only interested in moving targets? Please tell us, was it a moving target?
Honourable members, Honourable Adongo, you shouldn't have added the issue of cathedral.
Okay. Chairman, I agree with you. I'm not adding national, but I want to know.
Let that be.
I want to know whether this project,
Honourable Brana Champo,
the cost of this project was a moving target and never ended.
Yes.
I want to know that.
Honourable Brana Champo, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the people supervising the construction of the Bank of Ghana building are not the people on this side. The people on this side are the ones supervising the construction of the Bank of Ghana building. Mr. Speaker, the 107,000 square meters, we are told, cost $222 million. And it came to, per square meter, about 2,068. They also quoted a tax element of $42 million. My question is the 222 million inclusive of the tax of 42 million? If it is, then the actual construction cost will be $1,600 per square meter, which will be far, 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 far lower than the recommended construction cost for such buildings in Africa. That is, if the 222 million is inclusive, the tax of 42 million is inclusive, then the cost will be far cheaper. But Mr. Speaker, when we talk about building a Bank of Ghana structure, where a central bank structure, for that matter, we are not talking about building a Ministry of Agriculture head office or an NHIS head office. We are talking about the Central Bank of Ghana. Mr. Speaker, I can assure you that the cost of construction, we can relate it to the African continent, the world market price of per square meter. But the security architecture, the implications of it alone can also be more expensive than the building itself. Yeah, right. If we are building a serious central bank infrastructure, what goes into it for security can be more expensive than the brick and mortar. So my question is, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, I'm coming to the question.
Honorable members, can we listen to each other in silence?
Mr. Speaker,
honorable members, with the exception of Honorable Brana Champong, all others, resume your seat.
The question is, that was the background to the question. Mr. Speaker, the question is, a request is being made, and this will be the first one in this country, an infrastructure for recycling and reuse of waste to liquid treatment in a building in Ghana, the first of its kind. We are recycling and reusing waste to liquid treatment plant in this country. The question is, Mr. Governor, as you have resumed, the question is, as you have resumed this position as governor, if there is a need to upgrade the security infrastructure as you already have to be compliant with 2025-2026, albeit the cost of 220 million, will you admit new cost if you are being impressed upon or advised by national security to add on other infrastructure to the building? Will you admit the cost? Finally, one of your officers did mention that the cost of valuation, the cost and quantity valuation was not done. And his reason was that it is because it is a turnkey project. Mr. Speaker, I find it very strange, and I'll add the question. I find it very strange that somebody will walk into the Bank of Ghana boardroom, present to you a turnkey document, you don't review quantities, and then you award a contract. One of the most respected institutions in this country is the Bank of Ghana. The people there are highly respected, and it will surprise me. And Mr. Governor, I don't believe that a document was presented to you, quantities were not evaluated, and the Bank of Ghana accepted the bid and awarded a contract. I want a verification of that and a validation.